to Storyteller's Tarot. This is my first tarot video on YouTube, and I'm very, very, very excited. It is the ending of Eclipse season, with the new moon, I believe, in Virgo this weekend, which I will be posting this day of the new moon in Virgo, and I would like to see what the collective's beginning is after this eclipse season, because I know it's been a very bumpy ride, especially with the North Node being in Pisces right now and Saturn retrograde recently entering back to 29 degrees of Pisces. Lots been going on. It's been a pretty hectic 2 weeks. So let's get into seeing what new chapters this collective is entering into. So here I have your crystals. This is orange calcite, and I wrote down what these meanings are, which was very interesting. This is orange calcite. Orange calcite is very good for creativity, sensuality, willpower, confidence, vitality. This is blue Labradorite, which is very good for protecting from negative energy, balancing, reducing stress and anxiety, intellectual clarity, as well as hormonal regulation. So I feel that. And this is Lepidolite. It's good for reducing stress and anxiety, rest and digest, which I feel is a very Virgo theme for this new moon that we're going to be having. It also promotes mood stability, good sleep, peace, and stress, soothing stress and anxiety. So here are the crystals. So just kind of like, I like to hone in on whatever my eyes catch first. I usually just go with, but however you decide to choose what pile or what crystal. Ooh. Okay, let's see this. We got new perspective. Very interesting. Let's get one for orange calcite. I'm feeling this one. Seek and find. And then we've got the Lepidolite pile. Ooh. So we've got let go last quarter. So pick your pile. I'll give you a second to decide, and then we'll get into the reading. Okay, so pile number 1 with the Lepidolite, which again, it's good for soothing stress and anxiety, rest, digest, sleep, peace, mood stability. I feel like this is very good for the Virgo new moon that we are about to have, for releasing, especially with this let go card. What is not working for you right now? What do you need to release? I feel a promotion of rest and digest, which is kind of what Virgo is about. It's an earth sign, it's a mutable modality, and it's very good at building from scratch, working with what it's got, and then also knowing when to step away, at least when it's in harmony with itself. Now, let me get you, I'm going to give you now Woodland Wardens. I'm going to get you some more Oracle cards, and then we'll get into the tarot. So, with let go, let's see what else this pile needs to be letting go of. Any other insights, please? Ooh. You got the moth and eucalyptus, an ending. I hope you can see. I hope it's in focus. It's very pretty. I'm actually gonna put this right here. I'll give you a Soul's Journey Oracle deck as well, and then it'll be tarot time. So let's see what kind of feeds into this let go energy. What will help you let go? What is kind of the main energetic theme? Ooh, self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. Wow. Okay. Let me make some room for the tarot. I'm just going to sit with myself for a second to see exactly how I feel about this and what I'm sensing. Already, I'm sensing, I feel it with this new moon, you're going to be letting go of your own ways of achieving recognition or validation for your self-esteem. I feel you're understanding that a lot of your self-esteem was built off of what was outside of you and what kind of recognition, even if it wasn't directly something that was feeding off of, other people's attention. Or maybe you put, with Virgo energy in this new moon, maybe you put a lot of effort into gaining that recognition, or you put a lot of effort into your self-esteem, and it was mainly focused on the outside creation of what your self-esteem looked like, rather than fully embodying what having self-esteem feels like. Self-esteem is, it's really just sticking to your word of what you believe you deserve and what you say you're going to do, you go and do it. Especially when it feels good for your soul, when it feels nourishing for you, who you are on the inside. With the moth and eucalyptus, moths are drawn to light, and I keep staring at the candle, and with this new moon and this last quarter, I think you really are figuring out, especially with the Virgo energy, to let go of putting so much effort into the creation, like the creation of your self-esteem, the characteristics of your self-esteem. It's kind of like you were putting so much effort into, like, if I do it, maybe I'll feel it. You're realizing that maybe the feeling comes first. Moths are usually drawn to a flame, and that kind of misleads them a lot of the time. That kind of gets them, death and rebirth. It gets them killed. But I feel putting on a charade of self-esteem so that you can feel it within yourself, whether you were aware you were doing this or not, is what you are presently realizing or have fully realized through this eclipse season, and you are now fully letting go and just embracing the learning process of who you are and what your natural talents and capabilities are, and where you naturally get praise and approval and recognition, either in the mirror when you look at yourself, or from your friends and family, from those you surround yourself with. And I feel I'm getting an energy of it's very important for you, maybe what you do for work, what you go to school for. What you do is really where the self-esteem is building. So maybe you were doing something, or you were in a career field, or you were studying for something that wasn't exactly what you wanted because you were listening to the flame outside of you. It looked bright, it looked shiny, it looked promising. Everybody was kind of drawing on the talents of why you'd be good at that thing, but inside something always felt wrong, it felt forced. So maybe you're finally letting go of deriving your self-esteem based off of what other people see in you, rather than trusting and knowing what you would like to do and what brings you nourishment and fulfillment in your own efforts. And that's what really will fulfill your self-esteem. I kind of got carried away there, but let's get your tarot cards now and just get even more insight into this. I am going to take... Wait. Okay, this one really wants to come out. So let's do this. What does the Lepidolite pile need to know about this? So I had to cover this up for YouTube guidelines, but we've got the Nine of Cups, the Eight of Swords, Death, the Star, and the King of Wands. Now, along with that message on your self-esteem, I feel exactly what I was saying. There's this level of self-entrapment you were in mentally. Um, as a search outside of yourself, you're realizing, like, you have everything you need. You have everything you need to accomplish what you want, to feel fulfilled internally, to embody your own self-esteem. There's this ending of kind of looking outside of yourself for hope that you are doing good enough. I feel, yeah, there's this death and rebirth of looking outside of yourself for hope of doing good enough, for, that's maybe what the recognition was about. It's not so much a validation thing, it's much more, it is, but it might have been more curated for you to know that you are worth what you do. You are worth trying for. You are putting in enough effort, because you're realizing the effort, the knowing of how much effort you're putting in is not by the result, but it's about how that effort makes you feel at the end of the day. I feel in this full moon, you have already, and now jumping into this new moon, you are putting in the physical format and the physical effort, from kind of resting and digesting with this information over maybe the last 2 weeks. A lot of reflection work has happened. And probably as a result of a lot of loss. Yes, I feel like a lot of loss outside of you. Maybe just, it's been a mess. Things have not been going your way. You might have gotten caught up in a little pity party. Not that that is a bad thing. That's needed for some self-reflection. And through that, you have realized, wait a minute, what is my way? It's like you asked yourself a question, what is my way? What is my way? What am I doing all of this for anyway? If I, at the end of the day, I'm going to sleep still worrying about what I'm going to do tomorrow. Why is it that I don't feel fulfilled when I am putting in the work that is supposed to make me feel fulfilled, but I don't feel anyone's giving me credit or giving me what I want, quote unquote. And you're starting to realize what you want is that recognition from yourself, is the glow in the mirror, is the understanding that you are your hope and you know what your efforts are worth, especially with the Star and the King of Wands here. I actually want to get one more card for the bottom. Let's do that. Okay. King of Swords. I feel as though you've learned to, or you're about to jump into, learning how to align your efforts with your vision and your understanding of yourself through this death of, you know, what is not working? Why do I still feel as though I can't relax? Why do I still feel as though I'm not doing good enough? I possess the gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. So I feel with Virgo themes, with this Virgo new moon, Virgos tend to, sorry, that was my insulin pump if you heard that. Virgos tend to really dedicate outside of themselves, especially towards other people or even animals, as a way of giving themselves validation that they are doing good enough, that they are helpful. Because Virgos have a very, very sensitive heart, and they can see the big picture through all of the little details that they focus on. So with this Virgo new moon, you are emotionally releasing and directly jumping into a new kind of era for yourself, where there is this death and rebirth of, I don't need to try so hard. I am not what I do for others. I don't need to overextend myself as a way of feeling as though I am good enough, or I am a good person, or I am not causing more harm than good. The King of Wands really understands the worthiness of what he can create. He knows how to create it, he knows he has the capabilities, and he knows to put those capabilities forward. It may be on the outside looking a little too ambitious to others, but he's very grounded in a simple knowing that his efforts create what he wants to create. He's very aligned with his vision. And with the King of Swords, this is somebody very firm in their intellectualization of the context of what is happening. So I feel as though you're contextualizing your reliance of hope in others through what you've been doing, and realizing that you are the king of your own life. You are the king of your own creation. You are the king of creating your own self-esteem. And this is like a no gender thing. You don't have to be like, you know, just simply through the cards. You are the creator of your own self-esteem. You are the one that gives yourself validation. You have been so exhausted maybe because you are putting so much effort. You are not allowing yourself the chance to even reap the rewards for what you've done. It's possible you've been doing so much for others, or maybe not even for others, but so much for yourself that was actually through other people, such as if you're very dedicated to your career, if you're very dedicated to what you're studying, whatever it is, if you're very dedicated to your hobbies. You're putting so much effort to see, is it perfect? Is it perfect? Is it perfect? Is it perfect yet? Is it up to my standards? That you haven't let yourself sit back, relax, have a cup of tea in the morning, go drive and get some coffee. You deserve pleasure no matter what you have done to earn, quote unquote, earn that pleasure or that reward. I see you balancing your internal knowing of your own reward system and engaging in a newfound hope for yourself and your achievements without putting so much reliance on the result of what you've done. So whether it was actually with other people involved, whether it was all you and just like your work and your effort, having a title maybe it was there's this thing with Virgos where I notice they have a very humble vanity when they are out of balance. I feel you're learning to, with this Virgo energy, wherever Virgo is in your natal chart even, you are learning to have genuine humility and honor the fact that you can even do things that you would like to do. You're realizing the effort put in, the want of even doing that, and the ability to stick to your word to do it is the reward itself. I'm actually going to get you... I'm gonna give you... I like to collect little, like, tea leaf bags, and fortune cookies. I think it's really fun. It's something that it brings a little joy to my day when I collect them, and if I'm having a bad day, I'll just pull one and, like, read it. So I'm gonna give you a couple of those. Let's see. Just to end your reading here. Okay, let's see. You got... Oh, this one's a little dirty. You got, it is wise to follow your first choice. This one says, be on the alert for new opportunities, as well as pristine beaches and balmy breezes are beckoning. I feel as though this is you seeing, oh, wait, I've done enough. I deserve pleasure no matter what. The opportunities are all around me. It might be that you might be getting a new opportunity with this new chapter of your life starting. You might actually be dedicating yourself to something that you've probably ruminated over for so long, seeing if you would actually be good enough. Do you have enough qualifications? Do you, have you put in enough work to even qualify to start on that journey, And I think it is wise to follow your first choice. I think it's wise to follow your first choice. You're going to find some new opportunities that really align with your sense of vision, with knowing what you are capable of doing, and knowing that just that capability is enough. There's no more effort that you have to really overextend yourself for. Just as long as you show up, you do the work. When you leave that work, you still give yourself pleasure with the pristine beaches and balmy breezes are beckoning. I feel it's going to be almost a relief for you to actually realize how easy it is for you to trust yourself and trust that you are good enough in what you do. And that's actually, it's going to feel like a vacation in whatever new opportunities now align with your newfound sense of confidence and your newfound sense of self-esteem. And I would just say, be sure to give yourself enough rest and time to digest new information, time to digest and reflect on what is not working and what is working. And you don't have to go super neurotic on that. You don't have to go super overindulgent on the rumination of, oh my God, is this the right choice? Is that the right choice? You can just see, did that make me feel good? Did that sit with me okay after I did it? Did that make me uneasy? We don't have to go so into the details and get lost. Like with this Virgo new moon, it's showing us, let's just trust the vision, and let's trust that if we show up and explore the details of that vision when it's in front of us, and also leave it at the door when we are done with the effort of that day, that is enough. Keep reminding yourself to seek pleasure outside of what you do, because innately you are deserving, you are enough, and yeah. This was a very wonderful reading, and I'm wishing you the best of luck on your new journeys, and so much love and confidence with this new moon in Virgo happening. See you next time. Pile number 2 with the blue Labradorite and the card New Perspective. What ways do you need to shift and look at a situation from a new angle? Very interesting. So blue Labradorite, just as a refresher, is good for protecting negative energy, balance, reducing stress and anxiety, intellectual clarity, and hormonal regulation. I found that really interesting. It's a very pretty crystal my sister got me. So I feel with this new moon in Virgo, you're definitely jumping into a new perspective. Let's see if the book for this deck actually has anything else to say, because sometimes these have a little extra information. And I just love this deck so much, it's so beautiful. So, new perspective. Let's see. Oh, I see. Okay, new perspective. Big brown bat. The big brown bat is hanging upside down from the top of the small dark cave. New perspectives emerge when we step outside our usual ways of thinking and look at a situation or problem from a different angle. In this image, Luna moth caterpillar, gentian flower, and sassafras leaves. Oh, I see. What ways do you need to shift and look at a situation from a new angle? Oh. This is crazy because I have been seeing caterpillars lately, and I used to be very afraid of them, but I love how caterpillars decay, and they literally turn into goop. Okay. Oh, you got 2. I'm gonna take both. I'm so sorry, this tablecloth is going everywhere. So you got the Finch and Peach with Romance, and you got the Duck and Chrysanthemum with Luck. Maybe this is a situation that has to do with the theme of romance, or has to do with the theme of you jumping into like a brighter perspective. I'm even though they draw attention to the caterpillar, I'm really seeing the sun at the top of this card. Going over with the darkness of the cave and all the leaves inside. The rebirth is definitely happening with this new moon, and with your blue Labradorite, with intellectual clarity, I feel like you definitely are seeing a new perspective. You've had a perspective change within these themes. A lot of birds, a lot of flying going on. Maybe you're finally taking flight with a situation or an idea in your life. I'm actually going to put these here to make room for your other card before I get into tarot. Can you see the cards if I put that there? I'm going to put this here, actually. Actually, no. Okay. Okay. Now let me get your Soul's Journey card, just to add a little insight. freedom. Oh my gosh, that's so perfect with the bird theme. I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. Wow. I definitely feel as though you're taking flight into a new journey that is all yours. From whatever sense of clarity you've had over the last 2 weeks of this eclipse season, with that full moon in Pisces and this new moon in Virgo coming up, there's definitely been some type of clearing of mental clarity over things to do with maybe your luck and romance, maybe it was a love situation, maybe it's a familial situation, maybe it's just like a simple choice you're making for yourself, maybe it's self-love. I don't know. Let's explore. I'm very excited. I think this is very interesting so far. Let's explore your story right now. Yeah, your energy, this feels very fast-paced for me. So let's get your tarot cards. I'm using the Zodiac Tarot. I'm actually going to take this one. Oh, two. I'm going to take these two. Two. Two of Wands and Two of Pentacles. Lots of choices here. Lots of balance. Lots of planning. Actually, no, I feel it go there. This one here. You got the Tower, and you got the Eight of Cups. Wow. I'm feeling definitely something bursted through your vision and caused a very possibly long turmoil, but very well needed type of clarity or realization. So you've got the Two of Wands with Mars and Aries. You've got the Two of Pentacles with Jupiter and Capricorn. You've got the Knight of Swords, fire energy. You have Temperance, Sagittarius energy, the Tower with Mars energy, and the Eight of Cups with Saturn in Pisces. And Saturn is actually, it's retrograde back into Pisces. I believe it's still at 29 degrees, which is the anaretic degree. It's a very potent energy to kind of reevaluate whatever happened when last time Saturn was in at 29 degrees of Pisces. So I know that it's going to be there for like 5 months. I know. But with this, I'm feeling a sense of urgency, a sense of needed change, a sense of rush, a sense of readiness. You may have been in a situation, maybe it did revolve around a relationship or something, the birds and the bees, that's all I'm thinking about. That's all I see in my head. That maybe there was an ending or a fresh beginning, either or, that helped you reevaluate how you behave in your decisions, especially with the two energy here. There's a lot of fire and air energy I'm feeling. Possibly, whatever situation this was for you, it definitely brought you a sense of new perspective and a sense of freedom. And I think, one moment, the sirens are so loud, I apologize. So whatever has transpired through this new situation that I think kind of ricocheted a new perspective and a sense of freedom. And I think the sense of freedom is much more clarity mentally. That you realize you are not as bound as you thought you were. And maybe what was binding you in the first place was your own actions or behavior. Especially with the Knight of Swords here, I'm feeling as though whatever has transpired, I am sensing it might have been relational, whether it was whether it was a relationship, whether it was friendships, whether it was definitely something, I think, with other people that seemed. I'm seeing one character. I think something rambunctious definitely happened, and here they are falling from the tower. Um, I feel as though you were not aware of your own sense of willpower and how quickly you can jump into change. Maybe you feared change and were overly planning every single motivation or every single action you did. Or on the contrary, it might have been that you were so action oriented, you never stopped to think about what exactly you were acting on. What exactly is your motivation? What exactly is it that you are trying to achieve through the actions or the steps that you are taking? It's like your eye is on the goal, you know what you want, but you never actually questioned why you wanted something in the first place. And with the Two of Wands and the Two of Pentacles, I now see like this kind of backwards energy has it's like something was so sudden going forwards that when it pitfalled with the tower here, it shot your mindset almost like a catapult backwards, and you are about to then again catapult forwards very quickly. And this might feel very disorienting for you, but I feel like with this catapult forwards, you are now recognizing why you are ready to move into what you are planning to do next. I see a lot of planning happening, but it's not the planning from the past. It's a sensation of reevaluating what it is that gives you the desire or the want or the willpower in the first place, what it is that you're wishing to create from your own motivation, and then the worthiness of when you achieve those things. Why do you want these things? What is it going to bring to you? What are you going to benefit from it? How is it going to take its effect in the real world? There's this reevaluation of action rather than just being the Knight of Swords that kind of thrusts himself directly into what he wants because he knows he can do it, but it can create a little bit of a fire underneath him when he doesn't think so much about why he's doing something and what he's going to get from it and how that's going to look outside. A lot of people, I feel, overthink so much, especially with this new moon in Virgo highlighting this overthinking energy. There was definitely a hermiting kind of like over the last 2 weeks that brought you this new perspective from this groundbreaking energy that shook up your world. You are now learning how to have temperance in your decisions, and that's bringing you a lot of luck and a lot of opportunities ahead, especially with the Eight of Cups here and Saturn in Pisces. I think you're realizing your own luck was created by you, and your own downfall was also created by you from your own lack of clarity. I feel a sense of like, oh my god, clarity! Like you've never been able to be in the position to balance what it is that you want and how you're going to get it. It was always tied or kind of enmeshed with each other. With Saturn and Pisces, we're learning to have discipline with where kind of the blurred lines of our behaviors are, our desires, our story. So I see here in your story, you experience this restriction, this lack of freedom because of your own mentality about how to get freedom. It's like you were so focused on how to get the things that you wanted, you never learned to balance your wants and desires, and that might have caused a lot of ricochet in your life. But now that you are clear on what it is that you want and what you deserve and how you're going to get it and what is motivating those wants and desires, it's a lot more. You're finally having insight, and you're realizing how many opportunities you might have missed, but also how many are ahead of you. And I think that's where the mental clarity, the luck, and the freedom and this new perspective is like an oh my god kind of feeling. At first, the oh my god might have been the tower moment that happened, that brought you this deep chrysalis, hermiting energy of pausing, isolating, reevaluating, and then realizing, wait, my wings are not tied down. I can do what I want. There is nobody telling me what to do. There is no purpose outside of me that is what I'm supposed to be doing, or what it's supposed to look like, or what joy it's supposed to bring me, what fulfillment, what benefit it's supposed to bring me. And you are now realizing slowing down in your evaluation before you commit to jumping into something is the freedom you've been looking for the whole time. It's kind of like every decision I feel you've made so far was something that was like 2 steps forward, no, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It always kind of ricocheted back at you and hit you in the face a little bit. And you always wondered, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And now, with this newfound sense of clarity, this experience that might have brought you a lot of recalibration, reevaluation, you're like, oh, let me understand my motives before I act so simply on what I desire. Let me understand why I'm doing something, because maybe you were somebody that did things for the benefit of it, or you did things because you saw other people doing it, or you did things because if you didn't do things the way that other people were doing them, you knew you would feel isolated or trapped or alone. And I'm so sorry if that is how you've been feeling. I see you're a wonderful person with a lot of potential and a very, 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 very bright capabilities. And I think you're starting to realize, with that sense of freedom and this new perspective, that you owning your own wings to learn how to fly, you teach yourself how to fly. You teach yourself the reason why you want to fly. Those capabilities are your freedom. It's innate. There is no supposed to. There is no, what you're supposed to do. There is no how it's supposed to look. There is no what you're supposed to be getting. You are, what is the word? You're releasing a sense of expectation from yourself and from what you want. And I think you're getting a lot of luck back because of the patience you have just endured with yourself that you didn't even realize you were enduring. It was kind of just like always ricocheting back at you. And now finally it's like, wait, I see the vision, I see the line. I just have to learn how to temper my own temperament. Learn how to temper my own moves. What moves am I making and why am I making them? I actually want to get you... I didn't do this for the last pile and I wanted to. So I'm so sorry, pile 1, if you're also watching this reading. I hope this reading's bringing you a lot of clarity if you are. But for this pile, I am going to get a Mind Oracle card because I'm feeling like, even with this newfound sense of clarity, there's a lot of circling back, circling back, circling back. Kind of like you have realized what has dissuaded you in the path you were on that you knew you were in ownership of. It's like you knew you owned your own desires and that you got what you wanted, but you never really had the chance or the opportunity to see those desires for what they are inside of you. And if those desires and that action was leading you astray to begin with, why was the things that you're getting not feeling fulfilling to you in the first place? I see a lot of questioning and a lot of rumination, even given this. So let's see kind of a Mind Oracle card for some advice. Ooh, this one jumped out at me. Pause. Okay, I'm going to get one more. I'm going to take that one. Pause and pay attention. Oh my gosh. So let's read these. And I'm also, actually, before I read them, I'm just going to get, I have this little baggie where I collect, like, the ends of tea bags that have little quotes on them or fortune cookies. And sometimes when I'm feeling down, I just pick one because it's fun and it's cute. And sometimes you need a little something to give you a new perspective. So let's give you a new perspective or some insight with this. I'm going to get you one more. Okay. So you've got friendship is a sheltering tree. You've also got you light up the room with your smile. That's cute. And better to do something imperfectly than to do nothing perfectly. Wow. I definitely feel internally you were a ruminator, and maybe you thought you were thinking of each action before you did it, but you were actually ruminating over the result it was going to give you, rather than actually getting insight and reflecting on the want or the desire or the moves you were going to make in the first place. And that might be why you felt so entrapped by your own, or a sense of failure, that kept coming up in your life, that brought you an internal sense of perfectionism that made you ruminate so much over the moves you were making and how it was going to look after you make that move, that you never focused on the present moment of why you were making that move in the first place. Maybe it was derived outside of you. Maybe it was for a sense of freedom, or a sense of perfectionism, or a sense of recognition. With pause, let's see, it says, you're being asked to pause before making a quick decision and moving forward. Allow yourself to step back, look at all of the possible outcomes, and make sure you're heading in the right direction before moving forward. Wow. That's wild. And then you have pay attention. You're being asked to pay extra close attention to the signs you're being given, both the subtle ones and the ones that can't be missed. These signs will help you see how to best move forward in order to live your best life. Okay, pile 2, I send you so much compassion for how incredible you are when you do put your mind to something and you do act. Through this reading, I'm seeing this might be the first time ever in your life you were able to fully get insight on yourself and reflect. Because of situations outside of you, maybe your childhood was not great, your family life, your friendships always ended in a sense of maybe disappointment, and you always felt like the cause for that. You always felt like the problem. And it's not that you are hasty, it's not that you are wrong for the things that you want, or you're not good enough, or you're not perfect. Absolutely not. It was the motivation behind all of these decisions that led you astray, I think. And I think that is what you have realized. And with this new moon in Virgo, you are stepping forward to letting go and embracing a new perspective of, let's not act quickly, and doing something imperfectly is better than to do nothing. Doing nothing is also a choice. It's almost as if you didn't act because of the fear that you couldn't do it perfectly, or you wouldn't get the result you wanted. Or that when you did act, there was no pause for reflection. The reflection had to keep happening as the result of your action, because you never gave yourself a chance to understand what was going on here. I do feel this is, with this one, this little tea leaf here saying friendship is a sheltering tree, it might be that you've never really had a good support group, or a good sense of connection, or a good sense of, it's like you relied on your sense of character based on the connections outside of you. And you did everything to keep those connections, to keep romance and luck and love alive, whether it's through friends, whether it's through your romantic life, even your family. Patterns repeat. And I think you are finally, through this tarot moment you've had, learning to pause and pay attention to signals and cues others give you about the motivation behind your actions and the effect of your action. You're learning that the result of your action is the sign itself. And to not always actually keep trying for perfection. After you get that result, you have to sit back and reflect on it. I'm seeing you light up the room with your smile. I'm seeing a newfound sense of confidence in what you do and who you are, because you're finally realizing your motivation is no longer based off of what other people want from you, or some type of mental creation you were striving towards, some type of expectation of the future, some type of possibly a daydream with the Eight of Cups and Saturn and Pisces. With Saturn and Pisces, we can get very lost in the reality we think we're creating for ourselves, only to find that we keep getting disappointed by that reality when it actually is in front of us because it's not what we expected. And we're realizing how, with Saturn retrograde, the release of control and the understanding and clarity, mental clarity, of how Saturn and Pisces can give us a new perspective through embracing the control of having our own insight and the control of doing our own internal work. We can move towards something, we can move towards ourselves with the insight of knowing the result we want, but not expecting that result to happen, and not constantly being faced with disappointment when the results do not line up to what we wanted to achieve. The achievement was the fact that we put the effort in the first place. The freedom is the fact that you embraced your ability to act in the first place. Rather than focus on the outcome, you're focusing on the capability you have in you to put things forward for yourself and for others. And maybe this was a rush of decisions in your romantic life or in your personal connections that always left you feeling kind of like an outsider. And you finally, through this tower moment, had the ability to reflect and get a new perspective on yourself. And now you might be feeling like this little caterpillar decaying, and it might be a little painful, but you're realizing the pain has a meaning. We don't have to rush through it. We don't have to wait for the ending. We can sit there and pause and pay attention to what the kind of like the shock of understanding ourselves for the first time feels like. And through that, I think with this temperance of your actions, with the self-reflection you're having right now, as long as you keep that involved in all of your goals and all of your actions, as long as you keep the attention span and the pause and the planning and reflection of why you are doing something, you're going to find a lot of luck and a lot of freedom in your choices and a lot of happiness for yourself and new connections that will probably be coming your way through this new perspective. To embrace pleasure in your life, to embrace happiness, to enjoy the moment. Yeah, this is a very transformative pile here, and I want to praise you for how much work you've actually put in internally, because I feel it might have been very, very difficult and very emotionally taxing for you, because it's not easy. It is definitely not easy to gain insight, especially when your insight has always been the result of your own actions outside of you. But now you've learned to look inwards, and I would like to praise you on that, because that is a very difficult thing to do. And I would like to send a lot of love and a lot of compassion your way towards your future. Keep on doing what you're doing. Keep reflecting. Keep moving strongly, but at a slower pace. Yeah. Pile 2, I wish you the best of luck through this new moon in Virgo and through the ending of this eclipse season. And I would like to say that I believe in you. See you next time. Pile 3, welcome. You have Orange Calcite and Seek and Find as your oracle card. And just as a reminder of what Orange Calcite is, it represents creativity, sensuality, willpower, confidence, vitality. Yeah, very good for locking in on ambition. I'm hearing the word ambition in my head. I don't know. Let's see if that plays into anything. You have the card Seek and Find. Do you feel more in a state of seeking, or do you feel more you have found what you are looking for? I believe that's a woodpecker, but let me read the deck that this card comes with. Let me read the little booklet. So Seek and Find. and find the pileated woodpecker? There can be a big difference between the thoughts behind seeking and those behind finding. Seeking is a dynamic state of being. Finding is more conclusive. Do you feel more in a state of seeking, or do you feel you have found what you are looking for? Wow, I love that card. That's very interesting. Seeking is a dynamic state of being, and finding is more conclusive. I love that. Okay, so now let me get you a Woodland Wardens Oracle card. Okay, oh, you got two as well. Last pile got two. So you got, let's see, let's put this over here. You got the horse and the bluebell, modest fortitude. I'm gonna put this here. And you got the bear and cedar with leadership. These are very solo creatures. These are very solo creatures, with the woodpecker always seeking, you know, trees. They peck the trees. They're trying to get, you know, the little bugs, their food. Horses, oh my gosh, sense of freedom. Bears usually stroll on their own unless it's a mama bear, you know, keeping its little pack safe. Let me get you... Yeah, I'm feeling a sense of you're in a solo journey, exploring your own creativity, exploring your own desire maybe for life, your own willpower. Finally feeling like you have a choice. I said ambition earlier, that's right. So let's, let me get you also your Soul's Journey card, and then we'll get into your tarot. Whoa. I kinda want to take that one. Denial. Denial. Very pretty. Interesting. It says, I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with the insight of awareness. I feel for a while maybe you denied your sense of ambition and your sense of creativity, or your sense of having your own goals, your own sense of self-awareness, and your own sense of awareness of the life you're living. Either that was you denying it for yourself, maybe you weren't in the right space to be able to move forward with your own willpower. You were always doing things outside of you, or called to do something else, whether you wanted to or not. Let's get into your tarot cards. I'm using the Zodiac tarot. So I just had to cover those up for YouTube's guidelines, but let me now get the rest of your Zodiac cards. Oh. Okay. So you've got the Hangman in reverse with Neptune energy. You have the Lovers, Gemini energy. The Moon with Pisces energy. The World, Saturn. The Four of Cups with Moon in Cancer. And the Two of Swords with Moon in Libra. I feel as though for a very long time you were in a sense of indecision. Especially with the Lover's card here, I feel this is more of a choice rather than actual connection. I feel you were in a sense, especially with the Moon and denial here, of indecision of your own path in life. I think it was much... This energy even, I think it was more out of your control than you're giving yourself enough credit for. Almost as if I'm getting a sense of guilt. On top of this newfound realization, with this, your story for this new moon in Virgo, I think is entering a chapter where you're putting yourself first for the first time in your life. And I think over the last 2 weeks, you had a lot of indecision and a lot of illusions around your headspace. And the only way I think you were able to draw clarity for yourself was through maybe your hobbies or your creativity. And it's possible for a long time you weren't even able to do what you wanted or seek out what you wanted, a sense of exploration. I feel a very solemn energy with like this undertone of excitement. With the Hangman in reverse and the Two of Swords in reverse, it's like, okay, the clarity has come, and I don't think this was actually self-entrapment at all. I think, if anything, it was mental self-entrapment, but it wasn't kind of something that stemmed from rumination. It was much more like the wool was over your eyes, so to say. It's like you might have just gotten out of a situation where you could not see clearly because of the people you were surrounded by, maybe the cause you were dedicated to for a long time. Maybe you were in a period of very deep stress, I'm sensing, where you never got that sense of autonomy. I'm seeing you... This is very contradictory to the last pile, because the last pile had a sensation of almost ruminating over what they wanted, and they acted too quickly. I see you ruminating and never acting on what you actually wanted because you were so concerned over what you wanted and why you wanted those things. Excuse the sirens in the background. If you hear that, please bear with me. Let me take that as a sign. Maybe there was always a sense of distraction around you from yourself. A sense of distraction that aided in the disillusion, a sense of your wants and desires do not belong to you. You were denied the privilege of being able to act on what you want. And this feels very heavy. This feels very freeing in a sense, almost like an overwhelming sense of freedom. I'm very drawn to the horse and bluebell, modest fortitude. I'm gonna look this card up actually because I don't have the book for it. So I see modest fortitude, a quiet understanding strength in the face of leadership, characterized by perseverance and endurance rather than loud displays of bravery. The ability to withstand obstacles and maintain a positive and graceful approach to challenges, recognizing the true strength that doesn't always need to be showy or attention-seeking. So I feel as though you had a lot of shame, and maybe you were told you were... I feel you have a lot of talents, a lot of creative ability, and that was almost denied from you. Almost like there was a long-standing sense of jealousy surrounding your ability to express yourself. And it was so much that I think even you denied your own perspective of your own abilities to create. To the point you didn't even believe your creations were good enough, so why would you try to do them if you were so focused on what you wanted, because it seemed like every time you wanted and just did something, you may have been put down for it, or the praise or attention you got for doing that thing wasn't genuine from people around you. Like you lacked a sense of support in your ability to create, and you lacked a sense of support for your natural talents, and that made you believe that you are not talented. You do not have innate talent. You do not have the innate ability. You have to think before every single decision. And this was a sense of self-entrapment. I think you have recently, over this eclipse season, grown clarity and a sensation. Rather than mental clarity, I'm feeling a physical sensation of you finally feeling in touch with your own desire, in touch with your own creativity, in touch with your own sense of ambition. Maybe you're in a safer place now where that is able to come out of you and not kind of be targeted. that you now see through the wool. You're able to take the wool off of your eyes and be like, oh my god, I can just do things. I'm good at learning through what I do. I'm good at being free. I'm good at seeking and finding. And I think with the do you feel more in a state of seeking, or do you feel you have found what you are looking for, is that there was a lot of fear, obviously, because of so much disillusionment, because of so much jealousy around you. It's like you daydreamed all the things that you were actually capable of doing if you were allowed to just do it. You daydreamed so hard, it was so real in your mind, that you didn't even realize you had the world right in front of you every time you looked in the mirror. You thought you actually had too many choices to act on the one you wanted. Wow. Pile 3, I really relate to you, and I extend my utmost pride and genuine compassion to what has gotten you here. To taking the wool off of your eyes, to seeing yourself for what you do have to offer the world, seeing what you do have to offer yourself and your own life, your own willpower for life. I think you are actually, this is not so much talent-based. I think through recognizing your talents, you have realized you can create your own meaning for the life that you wish to live, and that choices are not so blinding. Choices are right in front of you all the time, and you make them every single day, and you make them ambitiously, and I think very quickly. With the Baron Cedar and leadership, I think a lot of people suppressed, or made you suppress, with their lack of acknowledgement, or their lack of maybe approval, that I don't even think you were generally seeking. I think the jealousy surrounding you shut you down so much that you started to actually seek attention, or you started to actually seek approval, because you were made to believe that innately you are not good enough, and your decisions, or your creativity, or your sense of leadership, your sense of independence and autonomy was almost used against you, because maybe the jealousy surrounding you was people did not want to see you achieve those things. People did not want to see what you had to offer. People did not, they chose to not see you for who you are, and what you are capable of. And in that, you believed that you had to work for everything that you wanted, that you were not allowed to achieve what you wanted, that you were not allowed to put your best foot forward because it wasn't your best foot. You didn't even know which foot was your best. You were so disillusioned by the options you had, and that many choices. When you knew what you wanted to do, I think you are, to sum it up, I think you are rediscovering to listen to your body, and listen to your feelings, and listen to your sense of desire. Because what you desire, it's not so, kind of like in the last pile, the sense of desire kind of led them astray because they never stopped to think about why they were desiring it. It's almost like you knew exactly what you wanted, but you questioned why so much it became a sense of rumination. You are learning to trust in your sense of desire, and now you are learning even more how to trust in your own sense of leadership for your own life. That you do not need other people's approval, other people's explanations for why you're doing XYZ, or other people's insight even on why you want things. I think you relied so much for insight outside of you, this blurred your own perspective of your life. Okay, I'm going to take a moment because that is a lot of heavy information, and I'm going to pull you a Mind Oracle card just to get maybe some more clarity, even though I really urge you to trust in your own clarity from this reading, your own clarity from whatever your mind is picking up on, whether it's the colors you're receiving, whether it's the animals you're drawn to. Trust your intuition right now in this reading. And hey, if some things aren't resonating that I'm saying, please trust the things that you are drawn to of what I'm saying. Because I believe through this pile, from what I'm seeing, you actually have a very good sense of discernment for what is meant for you. And you should go with your first choice. Your intuitive first choice. Let me pull you a card. Where is it? Oh. Okay, let me see. I kind of want one more. Perfect. Oh, that's... Nope. Okay. I kind of want one more. Let's see. Okay. So, pile 3, you got Soar. Wow. And Expand. Soar says, you're being asked to stop dimming your own light. Period. It's time for you to come out of the shadows and let your authentic self soar. Fly high, dear one. Wow. And Expand says, you're being asked to expand. You live in a huge world with endless possibilities, and staying safe in the known is no longer working for you. It's time to make your world just a little bit bigger. It's time to imagine the possibilities and go for them. See, I think this is perfect for you. I think maybe you were never given the opportunity or saw your own opportunity how to create almost like a loophole of your life in order for you to soar, which you knew innately, you intuitively knew, but your mind kind of led you astray. I think now you are finally seeing, with the Two of Swords in reverse, that too many options is almost a choice in and of itself. Seeing too many options is almost a choice in and of itself. I know with Expand it says there's endless possibilities. It's almost like do not limit yourself to a certain number or trying to navigate each option, because the mind can only go so far. It's leading you to a sense of acceptance over the fact that anything can happen. No matter what you imagine your choice is going to lead to, or what you imagine you were capable of doing and exactly how it can go, you are realizing the people that will praise you, the people that will see you soaring and expanding your life, leading the way for other people's autonomy, just by respecting your own. There's no effort you have to do for anyone else. You are a role model. And I think that will really show through your creativity, through your voice, whatever it is that you do or whatever it is that you desire for your own life. I think it's really going to show in your motives, in your motivation, in what you set out to achieve for yourself. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think you feared your success more than you feared failure. Almost like the option of being successful was so scary because you didn't even know what you wanted to do with the success once you got it, that now it's like, oh, well, I guess I'll find out. Like, that's what you're leading with now. It's like, oh, well, I guess I'll find out. Because you realized you always figured it out when the moment came to it. Every chance in your life in the past led you to figuring it out in the moment you came to it. You're learning how to stop distracting yourself from what needs to be done, and not out of like a necessity of like, oh, this needs to be done. It's more of like you want it to be done because you genuinely love doing that thing or making that decision. You have like this innate willpower to not be afraid anymore of the decisions you make, and an innate willpower to embrace and expand and fly with what you choose to do, and figuring it out as it's happening is what you are good at in the first place. And that is what makes you so expansive, so creative, so beautiful, so ambitious, so kind, so generous, because you can see other people's light in them. It's time for you to draw all of that inward and focus on your own sense of potential and your own perspective of how things are going to go for you. And before I end this reading, because this is a wonderful reading, and I feel very deeply connected to this pile, I'm going to give you some fortune cookie, things that I have saved, as well as, I have like tea leaves, so not tea leaves, I'm going to get you one more. Let's do this one. You got, you don't need to travel far to find the satisfaction you're looking for. You also got, you have the passion and ability to accomplish things great and small. And this, you got, gratitude leads to love. Wow. Is there really anything more to say? I feel like Yeah, you were in such a state of seeking for what you wanted. You were in such a state of seeking on how to do things and on how to get there. How do I make that work? How is it going to be? Can I even do that? Like a lot of rumination because you were maybe so blinded by your fear of success and so blinded by the fear of people seeing you a certain way, or of you actually putting your foot forward to do this for yourself. And you found that you in the mirror are the one you're looking for. You internally are the one you're looking for. You have the passion and ability to accomplish things great and small. It doesn't even matter what you set out to do. It's the fact that you did it. An innate sense of self-worth that might have been used against you as, with the moon card, disillusionment or illusionment on your choices, on your capabilities, on your dreams of what you would like your life to look like. And you never got to lead your own life, and now you finally have the chance to embrace your own creativity and to stop denying yourself the future that you deserve. Pile 3, I wish you so much profound self-fulfillment and accomplishment and ambition and love for whatever you set out to do, no matter what it is. And I believe you should look in the mirror every day and tell yourself that you are great as you are, and you do what you put your mind to, and your creations are just meant to be however they come out. However they come out, that is what's meant to be. There's no more planning, there's no structure. Be messy. Because that is your modest fortitude, and that is your way of leading your own future. Pile 3, I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.